Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome to Showtime, my favorite time of week. Live office hours Thursday. We are in our regular slot on our regular day with your regularly awesome support. And I hope I'm going to give you some great answers today. I think I will. Hey, you know what? I turned the camera on a couple minutes early because I'm ready to go. I see we got a whole bunch of people in the chat. Get in, say hi, let me know where you're from, let me know what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions. I'm going to get rolling. We're rolling right away. We're on for, well, now what'll be an hour and 2 minutes. So, hope everybody's doing great. Everything looks good on my end. Let's go to the chat. Kara, I got Unrepentant Drew with the hey man, hope you and your family are doing well. Is he the first? Is he the first? Just let me know. We didn't get our normal pregame kibitzing going on here, but Drew, great to have you, and I'm doing really well. And thanks for mentioning the boot camp. We are in the middle of a 5-week live blitz. We just had one. We got one tomorrow. I might mention that a little later. But if you do jump in the boot camp, not only do you get all the awesome assets, but you get 4 Fridays with me starting tomorrow, and then the next 3 Fridays. That's what's left. So great to see you. Hulk Charlie, hey, Mr. Mobius. After meeting multiple team members, the hiring exec seems to agree I'm the right person. Awesome. Need to talk to 1 or 2 execs for sign-off. M and G, I don't know what that means, but follow up, can you ever oversell yourself out of a role? You can't oversell yourself out of a role. You could overtalk yourself out of a role, meaning you just won't shut up, and they want you to stop talking to the point where it's getting annoying. That I would say, Mr. Mobius, what I'm going to leave you with is a short one. I literally 2 days ago just put out a video on how to interview with senior execs, and really that video, while I have shot videos for senior executives to interview for senior positions, and I called out a couple of those in the video. This one that I released the other day is for all of you at any position, junior, mid-rank, senior level folks, when you get way down to the end and they have a senior person that they're putting in front of you, what should you expect at that point? I gave you the formula for not only what you likely will encounter, but also how to handle it. And just a brief hint, but I would check that video out. It's 4 minutes and 38 seconds if memory serves me. But it really is about you being ready with your questions. When you have a very senior person at the tail end of an interview, it is not usually to evaluate you as much as it is to just look you over, give you a chance to say hello to somebody senior, give you a chance to ask a lot of good questions. And one thing you don't want to do is be flat at that point. And that's different than say, hey, we're all done with the interview process. We want to turn you over to HR, and HR is going to tell you a little bit more about our benefits and stuff like that. I'm talking about when you're going out at the high point. So check that out. Connie Cotter, great to see you, my dear. Woo woo, great to have you. Yeah, it's windy here and it's a little cold. 1 or 2. I have a challenging coworker. We've talked one-to-one to address his concerns. However, in meetings with others, he is still confused. I feel as if he is trying to sabotage my work. I want to say, dude, what's your deal? What advice do you have for handling this person? And then another question, did you finally get some sleep with the snoring dogs? Oh my God. So couple things. I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to tell you what I just went through these last few minutes right before I got onto Showtime. So wait, Connie, great question. There are people like this that, for whatever reason, always seem to be obstinate. Now, what I can't say, on the one hand, is why this person is the way he is. So I don't know if he's just confused, an odd duck, if he has a personal issue with you, if he has an issue with the company, if he has the issue with the project he's on, if he's just generally unhappy in his life, all of those things. And obviously there are infinitely many more things that can be wrong with this guy or going on in his life. So the way that I try to approach this is the first thing that I try to do is I try to understand and be very I try to understand where he is coming from. And what is it that is that you're not able to digest? What is it that you're concerned about? Or are there just issues in general, like with the project, with the company, and anything related to working with me? I think it's okay to say these things, because if you say it in a tone where it's, hey, I want to seek to understand you so that I could try to help you and the team better, I want to do that. And I can't do that unless I understand what's driving your thoughts, your behavior, if you want to use that word. But you know what I mean. I would. The first step is you got to talk with them about what's driving that behavior. And then the second thing is, what can we do? And sometimes it's fixable and sometimes it's not. And when it's not fixable, then that's something that I would probably talk with my boss about and say, how do we handle this? It's troubling. It's actually causing concern. It's causing disruption, whatever the ramifications are. And I would just bring those forward and go from there. And then based on what transpires there, I would try to see what's next. So, and since you're in the boot camp, you can always, or the Career Accelerator program, either which way, or the leadership program, any of those, you can let me know there. Now with the dogs, what's really funny, and I don't know if you guys can, I don't know where they're hiding. I think they're back in the sun. So normally what happens on Thursdays is I prep the dogs before I get on the show. I tell them, Daddy's got showtime, and then that's their cue to run upstairs on the opposite, the most far end away in the house from me, in their crate that sits in my wife and my bedroom in the corner. And then they run up there, they race up the stairs, and then I give them a treat, and then I kind of close them up for the show. But today I got to run out. I'm going to be gone for a while this afternoon, so I didn't want them to be in the crate for so long. So I said, come on, let's get ready for showtime. And then they ran up there, and then I had to go chase them, and I was trying to call them. They wouldn't come out. Yeah, I know. I'm really good handling humans, but little furry dachshunds, not so much. But it is a laugh a minute with these two. All right, Joshua, I love a 15 to 30 second rewind button on these boot camp videos. I'm assuming you're a boot camper I'm assuming you're a boot camper. That's awesome. Yeah, the boot camp is pretty awesome all the way around. Hey, Carrie Freeman, good to see you. I'm hoping your new job is going well. Carrie Freeman, Andy, have you ever heard of companies scheduling a phone screen or interview and having the employer expect the candidate to call into them for it at the scheduled time? Yes. It makes no difference. All you need to know about a phone call is who's calling whom. That's it. So sometimes the employer doesn't want to deal with what phone number am I supposed to contact and whatever. Just the logistics person, the screener, the recruiter, the HR person, the quarterback of the process just gives the candidate the number. That way there's no misunderstanding. The other thing related to that, Carrie, is they want to see if you call in on time. Okay, so for scheduled call, then they didn't answer. Okay, so that was, oh wait, this isn't the norm to me, at least in my experience. This happened to my sis, and she called in them after 15 minutes or so. They never answered. Wait, she called into them after 15 minutes. I'm assuming you mean she kept calling, finally did after email, then upon calling in for the rescheduled call, they just didn't answer, didn't hear anything back. Until a rejection email, I gave her your advice. I'm not even sure what to make of that, Carrie. I really am not. There's too many things that are nuts in there. Rolla from Vancouver. Hey, Brooke from Michigan. Hey, my boot camper, Brooke. And Phyllis. Great to see you. Let's see. Evelyn, it's a triple header. Oh, whoa, look at that. 5 boot campers right in a row. Brooke, Phyllis, Evelyn, Dania, I think that's how you say your name, and Deborah. Hey, you guys are awesome. Deborah's crushing it. Deborah, you're like the most wanted woman ever. Okay, wait. Steve G. Hey to you. And Cisco, my boot camper. Hopefully you got my response today. I think it was like so early today, it was almost yesterday. Jason Garrity, my boot camper. Hey. Joe Esposito. Hey. I know you're a mile walker. MCK, another boot camper. Hey. Yes, in Andyland. Dan C, another boot camper. Dan, we need to get you scheduled for your session. Cisco, boot camp, bullets. Question. My most recent role tended to be a bit heavier on the admin side of running a department versus the more hands-on marketing. That the target job lists in the job description what to write. Well, I'm not, without knowing exactly what you did and exactly what the job description calls for, I wouldn't know what to tell you what to write. But what I would say is I would try to marry up the keywords in the job description with what it was historically that you did. And if the keyword, whatever the keyword is, if it said something, let me give an example, and this goes for anybody who's actually in a managerial role, who's managed activities that their team was doing, so they were responsible for it. We call that the R, right? The responsible. Somebody else was actually accountable for, I want to say it the other way. The person who's doing the role is responsible for doing it. Somebody else might be accountable. The manager is accountable. If you are accountable for something that you do not specifically do, but somebody on your team does, let's say you're running the marketing department and there is campaign management that goes on as it relates to online marketing, for example. The job description that Cisco is interviewing for is calling for campaign management experience. Cisco, you can put something on your resume that you manage the campaign management processes. There were 25 of them that reached 25,000 people over the course of 1 year that led to X percent in sales. So you're still managing that process. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to get into the bullets. And you can actually put that in the title description, in your title description as well. Oversaw campaign. Then what's happening is the human eye and the applicant tracking system is seeing the nomenclature that it wants. And lucky for you and all the other boot campers, tomorrow, Cisco, we are going through the whole resume. We're gonna cover some of the major topics to get in each one, and then I'm gonna give you. I have a new souped-up applicant tracking system section for my resume submittal checklist. This is not ever going to be released in the public domain. There is a public version of the resume submittal checklist, and there is a boot camper edition. The boot camper edition tomorrow has many more steps that you need to go through to get passed or be successful with the ATS, or at least not get bonged immediately by it. We've done a lot of research, Kara and I, and actually one of the other boot campers as well. And we've come up with what we think is an excellent formula for getting past that. If you are on the fence about getting in the boot camp and you want to come to tomorrow's session, email us at support@milewalk.com or check out the boot camp page, because you're going to get those next 4 Fridays. But Cisco, we're gonna go through this. This is a great topic for tomorrow as well, so we can cover this in more detail. I can go through it in more depth. Hey, Kara, Blue Wrench baby, Wendy Bader, another boot camper. All right, Connie, Joshua, Stacy Gilmore, another boot camper. Loved talking to you the other day. All right, Joshua, 1 of 3. Then I'm going to have to take a sip. All right, let's string these together. All right, Joshua asks, I graduated about a year ago with my PhD, which entails a lot of research on different projects. That's typical. And have some experience in a real job prior to the degree and postdoc most recently. I don't feel like I've earned a second page of my resume, but I'm not sure if the collegiate template is correct for me either. Which template do you suggest I use? In fact, neither of my templates would I use. And finally, should I sell my doctorate work as actual experience? It's not actual experience, so I wouldn't try to do that. Those bullet points are currently in the education section. So, Joshua, what you need is a curriculum vitae, and it's a CV style where you can list out all the research that you did, all your doctorate work, and all of that good stuff. I would just Google CV, look at the samples. I kid you not, I coached a woman in her early 60s. She was awesome. She was an MD, PhD, had a bunch of other credentials, and had worked in the university spectrum for most of her adult life. And when I say university spectrum, not just like the schoolings, but like the hospitals associated with the schools. And she taught, and she was an MD, and she did, hospital related doctoring and mentoring and coaching of medical students and all this kind of stuff. She had a 34-page CV that we worked with, and we didn't cut it because she listed all of it out. So for you're not going to have 34 pages. Most people won't, but you will have something that looks like that. The CV has a research section, so you should be able to put all that stuff in there. So for those of you that are in academia, if you are in the administrative side of academia, you can use my commercial template, the ultimate professional template that I give you, and the one that I speak about in the many dozens of resume videos, webinars, video series, workshops, and all the things that I teach. There's 2 templates that I offer. One's a professional version, one's a collegiate version. Both are designed for commercial jobs. You can also use them for governmental and municipalities and things of that nature. But if you are in the academic profession, you're going to need to switch to a CV style resume. So I hope that helps. And you're welcome. Tiago, hey. Dave Wong, great to have you in the boot camp, my friend, and good to be connected with you. Chris in the boot camp too, and Diana, our beloved Dembski, is always present. Thank you for coming at any hour of the day that I have these shows. You guys are great. Ing, hey. Michael Kim, hey, from Canada. Cecilia, my boot camper from London. Aretha, hey to you. Virginia. Chris, got a question. How do you represent a personal side business you may own, like a pro photography business? Chris, what you didn't tell me is, and you, so I don't know if you've sent me your story, the email that you got when you joined the boot camp where I say, please send me your story, and then you reply and you send it to me. It goes in an inbox or a folder in my email inbox, and then I read them all at once. I actually have some time today actually carved out to do that. I don't know if you sent me yours. The reason I mention this is because I don't know to tell you to put that on your resume. I might say, put it, don't put it, or put it in a different section. Let me run through a couple of really quick scenarios here. Let's just say, sake of argument, that you're an accountant, or you're an engineer, or a technologist, or computer programmer, whatever it is. Something other than in photography, video editing, other things of that nature. If you're way over here, do not list that at all on your resume. No, you will get penalized. I would penalize you. I would start asking you questions about, well, what is this? How many hours a week do you work? Do you ever intend for it to be a full-time job? You do not want to have that conversation with me or anybody else, ever. Don't put it there. It's going to invite it, because I'm going to have to ask you, because I'm going to want to know, are you going to be dedicated to whatever it is I'm hiring you into? Now, let's take another scenario. If you have, hey, Kara, do me a favor before I forget. We got to add this to the list, because this is a great one. We get this a lot. I have a side hustle. What do I do with it? Now, if you have a side hustle that is related to something that you're going to do, that I love you getting in there. And you don't even need to necessarily put it in as a side hustle. You could put it in like you're currently doing it, and you can say, owner and operator, founder of, small business, part-time business to, support weddings, weddings, bar mitzvah, whatever you're doing. And you could put that in there if it's related. So if I'm looking for a video editor and you've got a photography business, that's cool. That gives me one more idea, or maybe an additional dimension that you might be able to do. Hey, I need to create some quote cards. Maybe you take some pictures of me, like the influencers do, put our quotes on them, then they know it's me. Whatever, stuff like that. If it's related, put it on there. If it is not related, do not put it on there. Okay? And if you intend to do it, continue to do it, don't talk about it at all in the interview. At all. Never. Zero, no exceptions. Right? Because here's why. And this is a real life case. We had a candidate who was a a business and IT consultant. We were recruiting this guy for one of our clients who ran, of course, an IT consultancy. Our candidate had multiple side businesses. He was a pilot, a teacher for pilots, and he worked in a wine store, Binny's, if you're in Chicagoland area, whatever. They're very popular. They're actually, I'm guessing they're popular, nationwide. And he would work on the weekends there. Now, in an isolated fashion, theoretically, that should not interfere with his Monday through Friday job. But the CEO of the company said, well, Andy, this is going to be a problem because there may be times we need him to work extra, but even if we didn't, I don't want this guy gassed for when he goes and visits our clients, right, on Monday morning or whatever it might be. So when you're doing that stuff, it's detracting you from your recharge time as well. It just, no good can come of this. I cannot stress this enough. So that's my thoughts on that. And Chris, if you want, maybe we could, if there's more you need, we can talk tomorrow in the boot camp. All right. Joe, hey, Christy H, first time. Can we all give Christy H from wherever she is a big live office hours hug? Maybe some claps, maybe some thumbs up for me, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss my live shows and you know where I am and when I am, and you can set your reminders. All right. Frank, I was asked to write my new job description. Love it. How do HR departments evaluate salary determinations? Frank, so when you think about the scope of what it is you're going to do, what they're likely going to do is, at this moment, I kid you not, let's just say, sake of argument, they asked you that this morning. They said, Frank, you seem to be all around awesome. You can do a lot of things. Write a job description. Let us know how we could best utilize your skills, right? What can you do? Here, what they should have told you is, here's what we need. There's an intersection, right? We have a need for you to help us with this stuff. Of this stuff, what can you do? Maybe it's all of it. Maybe it's a subset. Or maybe there's other things that you can do that they might be able to augment in the scope of your role. And it's going to be the intersection of what they need, your level of interests, and your skills and your level of interests. And you're going to discuss that. And they have absolutely no clue what they're going to pay you right now. And they won't until they look at what that all entails. Then what they're going to do is they're going to make a decision based on two things. First thing is, okay, for all of this, I am willing to pay X dollars. And for Frank's particular proficiency in this, I'm willing to pay X plus something or X minus something. That's what they're going to do. I'm personally, literally going through the same thing. I've got about 20 different responsibilities right now in my little company that I want someone else other than me and other than Kara to handle. That could be handled by one person. That could be handled by 3 people. It might even be handled by 4 people, or a company and 3 people, or 2 people, depending on the mixture of the skills, what their interest level is, and what they will cost. And I have absolutely no clue what that's going to be, because then I start getting into things like, well, if the one person that I want to hire who I really love does not want to do this one piece, then I have to figure out what I'm willing to pay for that one piece for somebody else to do it. I might be willing to pay more if somebody can do it really fast. I'm going to pay less if they're going to do it slower. And I'm going to pay more if I'm under pressure and that's critical. Follow me? So you won't know any of that until you put it down on paper. But you got to start somewhere, and you got to give them something to react to. And don't you worry, your first draft will not be the final draft. You'll iterate. Hope that helped. Metal Monkey Videos, my boot camper from San Francisco. Hope you're doing great, Joshua. If you want me to post this in the boot camp comments as well for posterity, I will. There's no need to do that, because then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go in and type what I just said. But if you want, if you're going to be at the boot camp tomorrow, we can talk about it a little bit more there. Annie Lynn, hey. Love my New Yorkers. Susan Donatone, Oak Park, Illinois. My boot camp, you know what? I went to Fenwick High School. I lived in Oak Park after college at 100 Forest Place. And I loved it, right across from the Lake Street Theater, which I didn't really frequent much. I tended to be in the bars more, if you can imagine that, in my 20s. But Susan, that's awesome. I don't know if I knew that. I don't know if that's Roy. Hey, hi, Andrew. Roy from Israel. Or if I mispronounce your name, please let me know. I have an interview that is important to me. I would hope that it would be. And I have a question. Do I need to bring a printed copy of my resume? You do. Final answer. And bring multiple copies. And do you have any tip for an interview at a startup? Here's what I would say. Number one, all of you, when you go to an interview, bring a copy of your resume for every person that you anticipate needing to speak with, and then add a few. So if they say, hey, you're just going to come in to talk to this one person, bring 3 resumes. Bring 3 copies of your resume. If they say you're going to be talking to this 5-person panel, bring 10 copies. You never know. And what I would also do is if I'm actually going to have an opportunity to talk with the HR person, I'll say, here's some extra copies of the resume if you'd like to hand these to your interviewers. If not, that's no problem. If you want to deal electronically, that's perfectly okay. I just have them if you want them. Just do one of those. And then on the tips for interviewing, I have nothing short of hundreds of hours of interviewing videos. What I would suggest is start with my interview intervention book, which is free if you pay the $7 material and handling fee, and then you get the ebook and audiobook and some other goodies right away. The other thing that I would do is I would watch my free webinar, 3 Keys to Ace Any Interview. It's about an hour of just teaching. And then I talk a little bit about the boot camp at the end, but you don't need to stay for that. We don't make you stay for that. We give you the gift anyway. Am I a swell guy or what? Okay, so try that. AK. How can we overcome a 4-year gap in a career and I'm trying to get back? You can watch my video on how to handle employment gaps. You are welcome. Panaki, my boot camper, how you doing? Execute 729. Hi, Andrew. How should I respond to this email after I follow up with the hiring manager? I'm not sure what email you are referring to, but please do not post emails in the chat because I'm going to skip over them. I get that question a lot. I get that pasted on my YouTube channel. I never answer them. Truth be told, I answer my YouTube comments every day. Here's the pecking order. Every morning I roll out of bed and I do a bunch of stuff. And one of those things, usually, it's either at the first thing in the day because I like to do it first thing in the daytime, is I respond to my Mile Walk Academy members, paying members, questions. They get answered every day. I try to keep the queue clean. So like I answer it in the morning and then I kind of take a quick glance at the end of the day, toward the end of the day before I knock off. Those get answered first. On my YouTube channel, I can tell whether you're subscribed when you ask me a comment. We have that ability through YouTube and through many other widgets that are clicked onto my YouTube channel, as you can imagine, that I need to help me manage this whole process. If you are subscribed, I answer your questions first. And then if I've got time, I go to the other folks and I do my best to answer those. If you put a nice comment on my YouTube channel, like, thank you very much, this video was really helpful, I respond to all of those too, because I want to acknowledge that. I want to see who's on there, who's commenting, who's engaging in my stuff. So I answer those, or at least respond, and I acknowledge them. And I don't just like click the heart button, I like type on there. So, and that's me typing because I like to read it. I know a lot of people who don't read their comments and they have somebody else responding. I'm responding. That's me. Okay. I don't know why I went up. All right, Cecilia. Recruiter called me about a job I had applied for. Awesome. She asked me why that role, etc. So why do you want to work here, or why do you want that job? And I could not remember that, JD, and asked if we could speak later so I could have a look. Was that wrong? So here's what I would do. So what's done is done. But anytime, so Cecilia and all of you, anytime any recruiter calls you out of the blue, your reaction is, thank you so much for getting back to me. What company are you from? Thank you for getting back to me. I'm so excited about the opportunity. I'm right in the middle of something. It's got to be automatic. You cannot let them ask you anything at all. Do not let them ask you anything at all. Not like, how'd you hear about us? That's it. Your response is, you caught me right in the middle of something, but I'm really eager to speak to you. Can we set a time to talk? And set it. That's it. Get off the phone as fast as possible. Nothing good can come of you being on that phone call for 3 minutes or longer, because you're going to get asked questions that you have not prepared. And in Cecilia's case, a lot of you that are submitting your resume, that are circulating it to many companies, you will forget this. And I stress that I want you to manage your job search according to your company list that then highlights which positions you've applied, make notes as to who you applied to, or if it was if there was a contact on there, or if it was, send inquiries to, Andy LaCivita, if it's a general box or whatever, and you need to have all that. And I would put links in there. There's also, I think I'm going to get this right. There's a tool out there called Hunter. It's not the hunter.io. It's like oh God, Kara, help me out, verify this, because I it's a good tool. It might be like HUNTR dot, it might be like CO or something like that, but it is a tool that allows you to track everywhere you've applied or what's open, and then it makes associations. Okay, so that's a tool that you can use. If it's not hunter.io, hunter.io will help you with email configurations and a few other things. This is a job searching management tool for individual job seekers. So verify that for me, Kara, and maybe plop it into the in the chat. So Cecilia, it's okay to say, can we speak later? But I would rather they not got that question to you. And let me see. Hunter, yeah, I was right. Hunter, HUNTR.co. It's called the Hunter Job Application Tracker. It's pretty cool. Got a nice interface. One of my beloved boot campers, Mary Jo, turned me onto that a couple years ago. I think it was, maybe. All right. So wait, Kara had hang on, just looking back here. Kara's telling me that Varun, I must have skipped over you. So let me answer that one. So Varun Pandey. I had a couple of experiences where the recruiter was adamant about the weakness question about myself and my boss. 2 separate occasions. They were not going to let it go. That happens. I had no choice. This was after I used your technique from interview intervention. How do I handle a persistent interviewer on this question? Thanks as always, Andy. You are welcome. And Varun and everybody else, I have how to answer what's your biggest weakness question on my YouTube channel. There's a video. I think it's a pretty popular one. But my initial recommendation is you don't really give them a weakness. And I'm not saying that you should give them, or something that could be a perceived strength, like I'm too detail oriented or something like that. I don't like those answers. If somebody is going to be super persistent to ask you what I think is probably the second dumbest question they can ever ask you in a job interview, that's really how I feel, because you're always going to know how I feel. If they do that and they press you, what I want you to do is talk about something that you've yet to do. And if it's something that you've yet to do, you should be safe, because you are interviewing for a job. They're asking you about a weakness. You're about to tell them something you don't have experience in, and they should have known that from your resume. have likely already said, okay, well, he doesn't have that, so I'm okay with that. And just and if you can, kind of slide it outside the job description a bit. And if they say something like, well, we want to know, based on our job description, what your weakest point would be related to the job description, then you need to cover something that you just not have yet to do. So here's the 3-part answer again. And actually, you know what? I don't even know that I want to go into this one, because I shot a whole video on how to get get the job when you lack the experience. In that video, I gave you the extension of how I would answer it. I've yet to do that. I've yet to do that, but I have done this. So now you tell them the weakness. I've yet to do that. That's a weakness. But I have done something similar. And when I'm faced with something where anyway, I go into the answer. I'm not gonna repeat it all here. But I've talked about this in multiple places. One is how to get the job when you lack the experience. Varun, the other place that I talked about this that would be a great thing for you to look at is we just did the job interview communication workshop. And as part of the confidence session, which was the second of the 4 sessions, I talked about this as well. I would use the same formula there. And you can give them an answer, and then you pile on with all the goodness that is you. And Harley would probably bite them. Hey, can you guys see Harz? He's about to... I don't know what he's going to do. Harley, you're on camera, buddy. Good boy. All right. Well, anyway, best damn dog I ever had, ever. And I have 2 dogs. Anyway. All right. Kamar. Caro says, I'm interested in learning more about the boot camp program. So, Kamar, and for all of you, I have a job search boot camp program. I know many of you are familiar with it. I know some of you are not familiar with it. If you are, I don't want to go into a whole big sales process. Here's what I would say. Check out the boot camp. You can access it from the Mile Walk Academy page, or Kara can put the link in here somewhere. It covers every imaginable thing you can think of related to job searching and finding the right job. If you saw the recent promotion that I had, you were inundated with testimonial pictures from people who've gone through the program. There's video testimonials, written testimonials, pictured testimonials, social media testimonials. People are having great success with it because it's a damn good program and it's deep. But the other element to the boot camp is there's 24 to 30, actually this year's gonna be over 30 live sessions, private group coaching sessions with me. We are right now in the middle of that. We did one last Friday, and we've got 4 more. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about the resume and how to make sure you do everything right before you submit that. And I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about the applicant tracking system. And even though I don't promote going through the applicant tracking system, I promote all the other job searching techniques and the networking and emailing it and boss hunting and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I've given you 10 networking templates that I've copywritten. One thing I recognize as your coach and wanting to be as complete as possible is I recognize that the applicant tracking system may be a necessary evil for some, may be an absolute evil for others. And the more junior you are, the more important the applicant tracking system becomes because you have a greater likelihood of finding your job online. The more senior you are, the less likely, I don't want to say the less likely, the greater the likelihood that you find your job through networking or another medium. However, even the senior people have to put their resume into applicant tracking systems. So I want everybody covered. So we're going to crush this thing tomorrow. And it's tomorrow at this same time at 11 Central. And if you want to get in, you can go to the bootcamp page while you miss the promotion for the little discount. Or if you got any questions, email me at support@milewalk.com and we'll see what we can do. I ain't promising anything, but just email me and we can have some dialogue around that. Because I know a lot of people, this always happens. They miss the deadline, or they just found out, or they just opened their email and the clock showed zeros and all that good stuff. And I'm a damn softie because I want you to get to where you want to go. But just email us and we'll communicate with you. support@milewalk.com. But I would check the program out, before you do all that. All right, let me see. Where are we? All right. Wendy Bader? Yep. Oh, Wendy Bader. Hey, okay. So the Wendy, the video that I was talking about was how job seekers should interview with senior executives. And if you guys, I don't, I'm super familiar with YouTube because I'm on it like 10 times a day. But if you're not familiar with how YouTube packages everything, if you just go to YouTube/Andy LaCivita, or just type my name in Google anywhere, it'll come right up. And when you go to my homepage, you will see playlists like, leadership development, job searching, cover letters, resume writing, other things. You'll see a lot of the playlists are packaged. And then what you can do is you do a couple things. You can click videos, and then the videos will come up in the order of what was most recently released. So you will see the Tuesday video first. And then if you do this later today, you're going to see this live stream first. And then the other thing that I would always recommend is all the questions that you want to ask me on a Tuesday at coffee or Thursday at live office hours. If you go on my channel and you hit the little search magnifier, right? The search button, or the search, you go in the search bar, just type whatever you're looking for. Employment gap, military veteran, stay-at-home mom, cover letters, anything you can imagine, I shot it. It's somewhere on that channel. Now, you might have to sit through it. Multiple videos might come up. Ageism in interviews, ageism job search. I'm over 50. Everything you can think of. I want to relocate. I want to move to a new state. I want to change careers. I want to negotiate my salary. Everything's there. Everything's there. So, or at least I've touched on it. But for Wendy, it was just Tuesday. So you'll be able to find it right away. Kelly Kennedy Lapping, how are you? Great to see you. Hear you. See you. Kyle Lee. All right. Whoa. Dang. My mouse pad, I need a new one of these. All right, I'm launching my own business that is related to digital advertising. At the same time, I'm applying to companies in digital advertising. Is my sign business seen as a boon or a conflict? Kyle, it's a no-no. Don't put it up there. And we covered that one already. Aaron, hey. Snowy, Colorado. Joe Esposito, past the phone screen and on-site with the team for a customer success manager position. I love it. They want a value review based on meeting customers. Will be judged by a panel of C-level executives. They want a value review. I don't even know what that is, but Joseph, check out how to win the panel interview, and then check out. So here's your recipe. Check out how to win the panel interview, or how to ace the panel. I don't know what I called it. Panel interview. Bang! It'll come up right at the top. Then the other videos you need to watch are all my senior executive videos. There is a video I shot. I always say this because I actually think this is true. I've got a video out there on executive level interviews, 10 steps to win the interview, or 10 steps for success, or something like that. It's the best video I've shot. It's 20 minutes of pure smoke. You will love it, and it is what you need. And you need those two things. And then I've got a few other senior executive ones out there that I would also watch. But that's what you need to do. J-Pox. Jason from Chicago. Hey, recently laid off. Sorry about that. You're in sales. Selling healthcare, but looking to pivot to tech. Recommendations on how to position my experience to a different world. Couple of things. You didn't say what you sold in healthcare. This matters greatly because everything that you sell can be made analogous to another industry. So, did you sell insurance? Right? Were you on the payer side? Were you on the provider side? Were you selling were you selling insurance related to personal policies, group policies, or were you selling drugs? Were you in the pharma space where you were selling some things to doctors, to hospitals, to doctor groups, to whatever? So you have to recognize what's analogous with those things. If you're selling things, drugs or something of that nature, this is important. If you're selling drugs, that translates to software sales. If you're selling insurance, that translates to consulting services in tech, where you're selling solutions to build IT systems to support business processes. These are different. They're different mindsets, they're different skill sets. And then on the software side, you have lower cost software things that can be sold out of literally, figuratively, a box. You have other things that are software as a service, pay by the month, could be cheap, could be $10, could be $30. That's good for you if you're in pharma, right? You could have mega solutions, multi-million-dollar MRP, CRM, SFA, so on and so forth. That's a little bit more of a stretch for you, okay? If you're trying to convert. Now, if you are on the insurance side, you're on the payer side, all that good stuff, then you're going the other way. Then you want IT sales, or you want to go into tech. You want to go on the tech consulting services side because you're selling IT solutions. This is the stuff you need to know. You need to research it. You need to talk to somebody who knows about it, or you need to hire me and I can explain it all to you. Those are your options. That's what I would do. That's at least your first step. All right. Lee in the boot camp. How you doing, Lee? I think you're from the left coast. So next time I come out there, Lee, you need to come visit me at the meetup. CG, oh, hey, you made it. Hey, Catherine, nice to see you. And then, Kamar, you were asking about the boot camp. And I hope the boot campers, you guys were so awesome during the, I revisited the chats of the job interview communication workshop. And that last day or two, you guys were so awesome. I gotta believe that a lot of people jumped into the boot camp because of all that stuff you were putting up in the chat about your experience, the ROI you're getting, the fun you're having, the community, all the stuff you guys are doing that we're doing together. And so if, share with some of these folks like Kamar. I mean, it's a really, really great program, and it's not just about job searching. This is going to teach you so much more about you. It's going to help you reflect on your career, what you did well, what you want to improve, why you might have been in the wrong spot, or what you might want to do to get in the right spot. There's a lot more to it, not to mention the ongoing community that lasts forever, and you can always come back. That's the other thing, is a lot of the boot campers, they come to the live shows, the private group coaching, because they can ask me about their career stuff. So you get to come back for life. So you get the program for life and the upgrades for life, but you also get the attendance for life. So it's really, it's really great stuff. Youssef, I'm joining a new company as a GM. A first for me. Awesome. Congratulations. We'll be managing 15 team members who have been running the regional office without a local GM. What advice can you give me? I love this question. Kara, this has got to be one for us. What do I do when I'm going in to manage a team that exists? This happens a lot. First thing is, who are they? They're people. What do they care about? Themselves. That's not a knock on people. People are driven by a couple of things. I think, how does it impact me, and what am I going to get out of this, and how do I help others? I'm all about how can I help you, and that makes me feel good, and that in effect is about me. That's just how I see the world. But most people see the world as, I want to work in a great place that appreciates me. I want to work for a wonderful boss. I want to connect with my boss. We may or may not have to be best friends, but we have to have mutual respect. And I want my boss to have my back. I want my boss to help me grow. I want my boss to challenge me properly in the things I want to be challenged about, and so on. The only way you're going to know that is if you sit down with every single one of them, and 15 is not even a big number as far as having a 30-minute, hey, just want to get to know you. I'm taking the time to, I get with the whole group. Hey, it's really important that I get to know each of you individually, and as much as I'd like to, manage everybody with the same processes and all that good stuff, I recognize you're all individuals. You have individual aspirations, individual interests. In order to be the best boss, I need to know what those are. So we're going to all sit down. We're going to sit down. I'm going to sit down with each one of you for 30 minutes, an hour, however long you want, 2 hours. I don't really care. But you got to sit down with them, and you got to listen to what they want. What's also do they think is working? What do you love that the way we do it? What is not working? What would you do about that if you were the boss man or lady, right? You need to start asking them these questions. So you get some time in that 30 minutes, or you get some time in that hour, or maybe it's 30-30, and then you right, tell me about you, what do you want, all that good stuff, however long that takes, and then how would you do it? What would you do it? Because at the end of the day, for each one of you, I want you to have input into how this team grows, into how this works. And right now, I'm new, so I have no emotional attachment to what's been done, the way we've been doing it, why we've been doing it the way we've been doing it, and so on. I want to know from you, as somebody who's been here, what you think about this, and so on. You start that way, like in a legit mean it, you'll be fine. That's the first thing that I would do. The second thing that I would do is after I got to work with them for a little while, I would not set the metrics up right away. I would wait 30 days, and I would just try to get the lay of the land. And as part of my second month, then the metrics would be going into place. Now, there might be some metrics that are already in place that you need to honor. I don't even care about those. I would actually have my own metrics. I would say to them, look, you know what? I think the book says you need to make this many calls and you have this many sales and this many whatevers. But you know what I think is realistic? Twice that, half that, whatever, right? Like that's how I'm going to evaluate you. That's what I want you to know what your real bogey should be or whatever. Now I get there's maybe, bonus implications, commission implications, whatever implications, but that's what I would do when I walk into a new situation. That's me. Hope that helps. Jenny Hinkle, how are you? Tamer, hey, big fan, used your stuff and made a massive difference to Mary. I love it. Kimberly Goldman, kind of like that name. I've learned so much from you. I have a second interview tomorrow for a great startup med device company. Awesome. The question I'm struggling with to answer is, why should I hire you above all the other candidates? Kimberly, I don't have the book in front of me. I was actually journaling in my journals right there, right before I got on. But the interview intervention book, it's got it. All you need to do, if you all are not familiar with my line of products and services, camp out on the Mile Walk Academy page, download the free catalog, get synced up with the live calendar of events, and whatever you do if you're job searching, please get the interview intervention book. I paid for it. We manufactured it for you. It's sitting in a warehouse in McHenry, Illinois, that waits every day for us to give them the orders that came in for the day so that they can pick the book, pack it, and ship it to you anywhere in the world for $7. But as soon as you grab the book, you get the ebook and the audio book. You also get an ebook that we developed called How to Interview the Employer, 75 Great Questions to Ask Before You Take Any Job. But, Kimberly, for you, in the Silver Bullet interview chapter, which is chapter number 6 in the book, which you would get instantly, because you'd get the ebook and the audiobook instantly, it's what do you have to offer? What value do you bring? It's the same thing as why should we hire you, among others. And I tell you what they'll ask you, the variations of this question. So they might not say, why should we hire you? They might say, what value do you bring? They might say, why should we hire you? They might say, any of those. I'll tell you what they're looking for, and I packaged up how I would respond. And so I would check that out. It's a steal. It really is. All right, Evelyn Abdul. Christy Gleason, hey. Mariano, Bella Gamba. I love that. Queens. Kamar, I think I got that on the boot camp. Anna Goldman, my dear. How's adulting treating you? I love it. Anna, every time I see your pictures, I love that. I love that. Yes, you are now officially old enough to have a big girl job. And you are welcome. You make me smile all the time. Wendy Bader, hey, you're welcome. Dancy, hey. All right, let's get going. Yeah, Cisco, great. Joe, great. Alina, my boot camper. Alina, I had a swimming session yesterday. Can't wait to tell you about it. I fixed my water in my nose problem. Oh my God. Annie must be talking about the dogs. Lee, at what point do you move on from a job opportunity? I spoke with the hiring manager 3.5 weeks ago, the recruiter a week ago who said they're speaking to another candidate, now crickets. So Lee, a couple things. I don't know if you're my Lee from California, or are you the same Lee? Are you my Lee? I think you're my boot camper. Yeah. Okay. So Lee, I look at this a couple different ways. Now, the speed at which you go through the process and then you're moving along swimmingly, right, like you were, and then all of a sudden a candidate pops up, internal candidate pops up, whatever it might be. If you talked to the recruiter a week ago and the recruiter said, hey, we are interviewing another candidate, a week ago that's not so long, because you don't know if, like, that was a week ago, now they're just interviewing the candidate today, or it's a second round. And if you went through all of your interviews and you're done with the process, or if you interviewed with the hiring official only, say the recruiter and the hiring official, I don't know what the process looked like, but if you interviewed with just that, the hiring official might want to wait to move forward to see, which one of the two of you he likes better. However, I think that's kind of short-sighted. I would probably keep moving the process and keep you in motion, because motion keeps you enthused, it keeps you connected, and it gives them more time with you. That's the way I like to do it. Let's do this, Lee. I'm pretty sure you're in the boot camp. We also, if you have more detail, save it for tomorrow if you're going to be there, because you got a lot more real estate tomorrow to communicate with me, and we can talk more about this and what I would do. I don't know beyond what I'm telling you, that because there's so much speculation about what they're doing, but I wouldn't necessarily. I don't. Couple things here. It's not about moving on from the opportunity. The way that I approach the job search is every single day I would. And this is for somebody who's unemployed and has the time where job searching is your full-time job. Every single day, I have a quota that says I'm reaching out to X number of companies. If you need a quota, start with 3, but if you can make it 5, that's better. If I reach out to 3 companies a day, that's 15 in just a work week. And every one more of that's 5 more, right? Every one more a day. And so if these people I haven't talked to the HO in 3.5 weeks, and I haven't talked to the recruiter in a week, that was 15, that interaction was 15 companies ago for me, right? Or 20 or 30. So I'm not really worried. You call me when you're ready, call me. If I don't like the way you're treating me because I think you're dragging your feet and I don't really feel loved and appreciated, that's okay. It's a heck of a lot easier when you got more action going. So it's all about controlling what you can control. And Lee, in module 3 of the boot camp, I go into a lot of this. There is a challenge there. I give you the challenge. I tell you the problems you're going to have. We go through all this stuff, how to overcome it, so that you are constantly in motion. And you will get really good really fast if you do that. If you have a steady diet each day, and you're going to be like your psyche, it's going to be in a lot better shape because you're going to have a lot of action going. Actually, Lee, you know what you should do? You should contact Deborah Sari, Saari. She's running a WhatsApp group for the boot campers. It's like a buddy system for what I just described, and it's pretty awesome. And she's on, and Deborah's on here, and Dan's on. I'm like, I think there's a bunch of them that are in there. It's pretty good. I'm actually on it, although I've been a little delinquent in getting it there. Okay. Where am I in the? Hang on, for some reason. There we go. Okay, now I can say it. How we doing? Okay, couple. Trying to think, get to my next meeting. All right. Joshua, I'm not going academic. I'm going for industry positions. Is a CV still appropriate? Everything I've heard says to apply with a resume, not a CV. I would use a resume then. I'm sorry if I misunderstood that. I would use a resume. And if you want to have a research section in your resume, go to town. Go to town. It's okay. You can have another page on your resume. If it says research, there's like juicy research projects you did, just put them in there. I like my template because I like my template and it's been wildly successful. There's nothing that says you can't throw an extra section at the back of it if it's appropriate for where you've been. We're all individuals here. So, if you need to take some creative license, please do. Okay. Han Yin, my boot camper. Andy, do you have a list of actionable verbs that are current we can use on our resume? I do not, because it would be like 8,000 words long. Whatever it is that you did, if you pioneered something, if you managed something, if you sold something, if you optimized something, if you marketed something, if you all that stuff, those are all your verbs. Just like that. Just use the ones that apply to you. Baby, how you doing? Gonna get to you tomorrow on that question. It was a great one. Christy H, you're amazing, Andy. How do I shut up, shorten my answer, and get the job? Christy, you're pretty tight right there. I don't know. So here's what I recommend to my long-winded friends. Now, there's different things in your life. So relationships that you have with your friends, you shouldn't need to hurry, or your loved ones, or your spouse, or your partner, or whatever, or your children. There's our show time together. If I wanted to, I could be super fast, super tight, straight to the point, and all that good stuff. But I think that when I answer something for you, I want to make sure you understand the rationale behind why I want you to do what I want you to do, the psychology, how somebody could interpret it, and so forth. Some people might call that verbose. Some people might say, well, all I needed was this one piece. And at the moment, a lot of times that might be the case. However, when you are in a situation and you need to call on the advice I gave you, if you don't have the other three things I just mentioned, you aren't quick enough on your feet to know that you need to change course from what I recommended because of the current situation and the variables that you're dealing with. Okay, now you are getting in an interview and you are trying to tighten up your response. If I am responding to an interview question, you can do a couple of different things. You can check my formula for how I would respond and the elements that I would recommend that you say and the organization in which I recommend that you say it. And just as an example, without going through the entire formula, there is a way when you are going to respond to something that you want to frame the question, your response to their question in a manner that they know exactly how many elements you are about to go through. So they ask you a question, say, okay, this is great. I'm glad you asked me that. I'm gonna, here's the story. I started with the design, then I went to the implementation, then we QA'd it, and then we converted them over. So let me tell you how I did that. They know there's 4 pieces to the story, right? So you've just told them you are about to hear 4 things from me. So I'm gonna go through them, and these are the things that you're gonna focus on. So first we did this, and then we did this, and then we did this, and then we did this, and so on. Now, you can do that for just about any of the common interview questions. And Christy, I don't know if you have the interview intervention book, but in the interview intervention book, there's a chapter in there. I mentioned this to somebody else earlier about my 14, the best interview questions. I call it my silver bullet interview question. And of those 14 questions, I break it down so I show you all the variations. There's like 43 variations of those 14 questions. And then I tell you what they could ask you, why they would ask it, the rationale and what they're looking for, and what the very best responses are. And you could use those samples to structure your stories. That's Then what you can do is, if you really feel like you're long-winded, what I would say is I would talk to a friend or a spouse or whoever it might be and actually run a few answers by them. And hopefully it's somebody that isn't intimately familiar with what you do for a job. And then ask them, was there anything in there that was superfluous? Was there anything you didn't really need to know? Was there some things that had more of an impact or resonated with you more, or you feel were more valuable? And you'll be surprised how quickly you can do that. You can also give yourself time limits. How would I say this in X minutes? How could I say that in 3 minutes? How could I say that in 5 minutes? It also depends on how lofty the question was and how many pieces there are to it. What you don't want is yes or no answers. So just keep that in mind. That's some things to get you started. It's really interesting with my boot campers. With the boot camp, the boot camp, and when you pay for it, you get all the online stuff. You get access to everything. You can come to all the live shows or the live private group coaching sessions and all that. There's a one-on-one coaching session that you could grab if you wanted to. What some of the boot campers will do is they'll enroll in the base package, and then what they'll do is they'll go through, they'll start job searching, they'll get an interview that they really, really want to kill. And then what they'll do is they'll say, can we have a coaching session, and will you prep me? So then we'll go through that, and I'll prep them for that specific role. And a big part of that prepping is the role playing. And I'll let them tell me what they want to tell me, and I'll just let them speak it to me, and then I'll say it in half the amount of time without losing anything. And then they're like, oh yeah, okay, now I see it. And then we go through another one. By the third time, they got it down. It's like it doesn't take that long to see what is unnecessary, and you can really tighten it up, but be full too in your response and get all the goodies in. And once you know, here's one other thing, because I think this is really important. And Christy, I don't know if you saw my presentation, the workshop with the job interview communication workshop, where I talked about giving a presentation. I told about giving a presentation. It's got an intro, a body, a conclusion. Then the intro's got 4 parts. The body's got 5, and the conclusion's got 2. And here's how you go through that, okay? So you go check that formula out. Now, every single answer in your head is going to go this way. Every time I do a live show with you guys that's not an all-out Q&A like this, it has a script to it that says, well, first thing is I got to say hello to them. Second thing is I got to tell them what we're going to talk about. Third thing is I got to tell them why it's important, what they're going to learn. Then I go in, then I tell them the mistakes they're going to make and how not to make those. Then I recap it for them, end a discussion, then we go to the Q&A. Okay? Every single time. So every single time I want to present something to you, I know the outline. You could do that when you go into your interviews and say, every time they ask me to talk about a project that I managed, here's my outline. Every time they ask me about this kind of interaction, here's my outline for that one, because it's a different type of question. So you could have that, and bang, and then you'll know, stick to the points. That really will tighten you up. Kara, can we add this one? I gotta do a shoot on this one. I gotta, how do you tighten up your responses? We get that one a lot. And I think I can give you guys a formula in 5 minutes once I have a chance to think about it for 5 minutes. I'll get that to you. And Christy, I hope that helps. All right. Hulk Charlie dropping in. Love listening to your thought process and stellar personality. Thank you. I used to live in South Barrington. It's like down the block, which I believe is by you. It sure is. All right. Kamar, I would love to learn about the boot camp program. Can I get a link? Kamar, do this. Email support@malwalk.com. You'll be happier that way, and then we'll get you situated. All right, let me see if I can take a couple more. I gotta get rolling. I gotta get in the car. Emma, hey, Dania, hey. Got my super career journal today. Love it. Thank you so much. Time to plan my promotion. 5 weeks are not too soon at all. Anna, that is correct. Tony P., my Tampa Bay boot camper, December 6th. Tony, better be on your calendar, man. And we're having an after-hours party at your house. So how about that? Ed Lampert, hey, you're here, man. Interview follow-up, interview and response process seems to be taking a long time for positions I'm seeking. Is this quite normal these days? Edward, it is. Everybody, I laughed. I was in bed having coffee. This has nothing to do with you. I was in bed having coffee with my wife Monday. And we wake up very early, which gives us a chance to knock the dogs around in the bed and just kind of, she turns the TV on and I do everything I possibly can to not look at the news. So, but on the news, somebody on Good Morning America was doing a preview of, so we're watching the local Chicago news, and then what they do is the ABC station shoots over to Good Morning America, and then Michael Strahan or somebody will come on and talk about what they got going on GMA. And he said, October's such a great time to look for a job. And what I couldn't believe is it's the absolute worst month of the year, statistically, of history and all history and forever and ever, is the worst month to look for a job. And the reason that that's the worst month to look for a job is not because people are not hiring, because every company, just like every individual, has its own situation. Some VP of something could have just left and now everybody's in a panic, so they're looking, and it happens to be October. But what normally is happening is October is projects are still kind of in force. And what organizations now start to do is they start to look ahead to the first quarter of next year, and they start looking at multiple things. They're looking at what are we going to be doing next year? What's going to get done this year? What budget do I have remaining that I need to make sure that I consume because it doesn't carry over? There's all these things that go on in October. A lot. Not every company. Some companies wait till November. I'm just saying, when you're dealing with 7 billion people and a whole bunch of zillions of companies, this is fairly common. So what happens is, by the end of October, which we're coming up on, they start to pick things up. And then November rolls around and they realize, holy smokes, if I don't get moving, I'm not going to have the people I need in here by January, or up to speed and moving by January, and so on. So November, December, January, February, those are high velocity months. And it almost doesn't matter what the economy looks like. There's frequency in hiring. And Edward, since you are a boot camper, there is a module in there that's a specialty module. It's like a bonus module where I talk about all the adjustments you need to make in November, December, January, and February. These are exceptions to recommendations that I've been giving throughout the year. There are other things you want to take into account and different approaches that you want to use during those 4 months. This is a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal that you make the adjustments that I recommend, because it's going to change your results and it's going to get you there faster. To answer your question, yes, that's normal for right now. For right now, and you're a senior guy. That's always normal. And then it's just compounded by the fact of where we are, October, whatever this is. I can't even see, 24th. So, and hopefully you're going to be at the boot camp tomorrow, and we'll talk about that. Let me see if I could sneak in. Look at all those boot campers. I just love it. Grace from St. Vincent. Hey, I used your advice to assist in my first job application in about 10 years. Just got back the acknowledgement today. Looking forward to more job searching tips. I love it. I love it. Okay, I have got to wrap this up, folks. Couple things really quick. I hope you're opening up the emails. I sent you an email today with a lot of current events, links to like the free job interview communication workshop. If you missed that, I made mentions of that a few times. There are some specials in there if you want to jump in the boot camp. I don't know if we put in kind of the specifics that I'm going to be covering over the next 4 Fridays, but the boot camp's awesome. If you are on the fence, this is a great time to get in. The other thing is, if you can't swing the boot camp, I have a couple other promotions that are going on related to your resume and interviewing. You can check those out. Grab the interview intervention book. I'm not here Tuesday for Careers and Coffee. I've took Careers and Coffee off the schedule for the boot camp month because I'm spending more time upgrading some things in the boot camp, and I just needed the time. But I am back on Thursday, and we'll kind of do like we did here, where I'll turn that camera on. We'll get right into it. I'll take as many of these questions as I can. YouTube leaves this up after I click off. If I didn't get to your question, you're welcome to ask me in the comment section. And I'll do my best to answer it on the YouTube channel. If you're a boot camper, then get me tomorrow, and we're gonna spend a couple hours on your stuff, and I'll try to get everybody's question answered tomorrow for the boot campers. So hopefully I'll see you there. And if you are interested in getting into the boot camp, support@milewalk.com is a great way. Kara I will be happy to help you. All right, you guys are awesome. I'll see most of you next Thursday. I'll see my boot campers tomorrow. You guys got a new video coming out on Tuesday. It'll be on how to get the job when there's no job description or where there's no job opening. It's a good one. Take it in. It's about 16 minutes. All right. Talk to you soon.